Can a small Scandinavian country defy the massive tide of immigration that's sweeping across Europe? Denmark says yes, with a bold strategy that's turning heads and raising eyebrows. Stay tuned to find out how.
Despite a coalition government led by a centre-left party, it has some of the most restrictive immigration policies in the EU.
But now you have Muslims.
Yeah.
They are
And
living side by side, Christian, Danes, and others.
No, they're not.
You can see.
Welcome to our in-depth look at Denmark's hardline approach to immigration. In this video, we'll explore how Denmark, renowned for its politeness and progressiveness, has implemented some of the toughest immigration policies in Europe.
People who come to Denmark shall not be permitted to stay in Denmark indefinitely. And second of all, we would like to say to these people who are coming to Denmark that they should not calculate on staying in Denmark at all.
We'll examine the political, social and legal measures that have reduced asylum claims to a trickle and discuss what this means for the future of immigration in Europe. By the end of this video, you'll understand the controversial but effective strategies Denmark has employed to protect its borders and its identity. In recent decades, the EU has seen a skyrocketing number of immigrants, with millions pouring in annually. Yet, Denmark has managed to find a solution that seems almost unthinkable in today's political climate: zero asylum seekers. In 2020, only 1,500 people applied for asylum in Denmark, a 57% drop from the previous year and the lowest number since the 1990s. This is a stark contrast to neighbouring Sweden, which recorded 13,000 asylum claims in the same year. Despite its reputation for politeness and progressiveness, Denmark has grown profoundly sceptical of asylum seekers. Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen of the centre-left Social Democrats has set a target of zero arrivals outside the UN resettlement system. This represents a significant shift from Denmark's past, where it was the first to sign and ratify the UN Refugee Convention in 1951. However, over the past 30 years the country's stance has hardened, driven by the impacts of mass migration and the rise of the right-wing Danish People's Party.
Celebrating becoming Denmark's second largest party, the right-wing Danish People's Party has made huge gains in the country's general election as part of a blue bloc of conservatives that secured a slender victory over the ruling centre-left coalition.
Denmark's transformation began with the introduction of temporary protection status in 2015, which can be withdrawn if conditions in the home country improve even slightly.
Do you think Damascus or anywhere else in Syria is a safe place for people like you these days?
No, it's my country. If I know that it's safe, I will take my children and go back. But I know that it's not safe to them to go back to Syria.
This was aimed at curbing dubious asylum claims and reducing the strain on Danish taxpayers. In 2016, the government allowed authorities to confiscate jewellery and valuables from new arrivals to fund their stay.
The Danish Parliament has passed a highly controversial law allowing the confiscation of money and valuables from asylum seekers. Those in favour say it will help pay for their upkeep once they arrive in Denmark. The authorities say the policy will put asylum seekers on a level footing with unemployed Danes, who must sell assets above a certain amount to qualify for benefit payments.
Anti-ghetto laws were also implemented to limit the number of non-Danish people in certain neighbourhoods, aiming to protect Danish culture and safety. Denmark's ability to implement such stringent measures is partly due to its opt-outs from EU policies on police and justice, secured under the Edinburgh Agreement in 1992.
As regards the position of Denmark, the Danish government have now put forward a memorandum with firm policy proposals. We will be discussing this memorandum with the Danish government and with other member states. Some of the work called for by the memorandum is already in train and was set in train not least at Birmingham.
This allows Denmark to bypass some EU immigration rules, giving it more flexibility in handling asylum seekers. Social Democrats elected in 2019 have continued to push for tougher immigration policies. A new law now enables Denmark to deport asylum seekers to third countries while their applications are processed. This law, passed by a comfortable margin in Parliament, faces criticism from the European Commission and human rights organisations, but enjoys strong support from the Danish public. Denmark argues that these measures are necessary to protect national interests and maintain public safety.
What would you say to the criticism that this is a case of rich countries outsourcing the problem to poor countries and letting them do Europe's dirty work?
Well, I would say that part of these discussions should also be to make sure that we take a quota of refugees, either through the UN quota refugee system or other refugee systems, so that we, of course, take some responsibility for the situation around Europe. But I also want to say that, of course, it's a legitimate political view to say that you want, let's say, 200,000 refugees a year in a country, but that should be decided upon in the parliament or in another forum where you have democratically elected politicians that can take responsibility. Now it's just happening. No one decided upon it, and no one knows how to stop it if we don't get any kind of third country arrangements with, for example, reception centers outside the European Union. So it's fundamentally a democratic question, this matter of putting back control of migration into the national parliaments.
Denmark's approach includes extensive vetting and background checks for refugees accepted through the UN resettlement system, resulting in fewer than 250 refugees being accepted in the past 3 years. The Danish government is also considering deporting settled refugees back to Syria, arguing that certain areas are now safe. These measures highlight Denmark's focus on prioritising its citizens' safety and cultural identity. Earlier, we mentioned Denmark's opt-outs from EU policies. Let's delve deeper into how these opt-outs allow Denmark to implement measures that other EU countries cannot. Denmark's hardline immigration policies have significantly reduced the number of asylum seekers and illegal immigrants. While these measures have sparked controversy and criticism, they reflect the will of the Danish people and their desire to protect their national identity. What do you think about Denmark's approach? Should other countries adopt similar strategies, or is there a better way to handle immigration? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth content on global issues. Thank you for watching, and stay informed.